Hello, I'm Guy, and this is Guy Robot. Hello, so I'm going to talk about something a bit more personal today. I wasn't sure whether I was going to share this or not with YouTube, but it's a very important part of my life, and it's part of who I am. And I know that when I've seen videos from others, regardless of how many views they've got, I've received help from some people. So hopefully this will help some people. If not, just click over it. I suffer from social anxiety. I didn't really realise I suffered from anxiety at all for a long time, let alone social anxiety. I always assumed I just didn't really like people and that small talk was difficult. The reality is that if I'm with friends, groups of people I know that I've somehow managed to get into being myself with, I'm incredibly comfortable talking. I like being the centre of attention. I like leading conversations. I like having that connection with other people. But when it comes to meeting new people, or even basic situations like going to buy a burger from McDonald's, I'm filled with fear. And it makes it very difficult to live your life. On a day-to-day basis, you learn to deal with it. McDonald's have helped recently by installing automated kiosks so I don't have to talk to them when I'm ordering, which helps for fear that I will be judged on what I'm eating despite the fact I'm in McDonald's, or that I will say something in the wrong order, confuse the person behind the till, they won't be able to put it into their EPOS system, then they'll need to ask me a question and I won't understand them. And my brain will run through these questions at 1,000,000 miles an hour, figuring out everything that could possibly go wrong with the situation. One of the scariest situations I had last year was going into a kebab shop in London at lunchtime. Now, normally that would be okay. You'd go in, if you hadn't gone in before, you'd look at the menu. If you weren't sure what the sauces and things were, you'd go, "Excuse me, what can I have on my kebab?" Instead, what I wanted was a chicken kebab with hot and spicy sauce and just onion. I ended up having a lamb kebab with absolutely everything on it and some mint sauce because I just went for the default option that I could read. The concept that the sauces weren't labelled threw me. This is how I end up living my life. And normally, it's not too much of a problem. But there are certain days that are very difficult, and today is one of those days for me. I start university officially tomorrow, my registration. But tonight, everybody that's doing my robotics course is meeting in Bristol. Now, theoretically, this is a fun event where we all get to meet each other and we get to socialise. We're going to be spending 4 years with these people, we're going to be doing group work. Hopefully, some of these people are actually going to become friends and at some point in the future colleagues. So it's quite important to have these interactions. I get that. But for me, that's not what today is. Today is terrifying. I've spent the last week running up to it, and on and off for the last 3 or 4 months that I've known this is happening, worrying about today. What are people going to think of me? What should I wear? I can't possibly wear tie-dye. They'll judge me on that. Am I allowed to wear my orange trainers? What are they going to think about that? I'm too old. They're all going to be in their early 20s. I'm 32. They're going to think I'm ancient. God, if I wear tie-dye, they're going to think that I am trying to fit in too hard. What if I can't work with these people? What if I make such a bad impression on the first day that they never want to work with me and I'm ostracised for the next 4 years and I never talk to anyone? That's going to make the group projects I have to do really difficult. And the lecturers and course leaders are there. What if they think I'm terrible? What if they realise they've made a mistake and I'm not meant to be there? There's so many things that go around my head. And it's nuts. The insanity of all of this is I can't actually control it. I know how to have conversations with people. And my experience has led me to believe that when I'm myself, people seem to like me and react well to me. When I'm trying to be something I'm not, things don't work out as well. But when I'm stood there in a room of people and I'm trying to interact with them, the words just vanish out of my head. The rabbit in headlights scenario is exactly where it is. I'm just stood there and there's a fairly basic conversation and I cannot think of a single question to ask. I have no idea what I'm supposed to say, what I'm supposed to do, and it just feels, I feel I'm being judged, I feel everyone else can see right through me. And that may well not be the case. It probably isn't the case. Most people are anxious in social situations to some extent, and there's a bit of fear about it. And most people just get on with it and do it. I woke up this morning and I kept going in and out of sleep thinking about this. I felt physically sick. I've been queasy. There's that strange feeling about my limbs that there's this kind of weird impending doom. There's the physical manifestations of it. And that's not normal. When I first started university, which was 13 years ago next Saturday, well, that is a long time, my way of dealing with it then, without actually knowing I suffered social anxiety at the time, was to have some Valium and then a lot of alcohol. Now, I'm not going to go with that approach today. Firstly, that changes me for being me, which isn't a good thing, and I don't drink anymore. So I have to go and do this being myself. This has been one of the biggest problems I've had in my life. It stopped me with social networking events. I have cancelled so many things and had so many missed opportunities because of this in my life. I've still made a reasonable success because I've got all these strategies to work around it. And I know deep within myself that I will survive today. And it shouldn't be surviving. This should be a fun and relaxing afternoon, looking around an interesting tech museum that I wanted to for a while in Bristol, and then going for a buffet meal with everyone, followed by going home, having had a nice evening, and feeling less anxious going in tomorrow. Whereas instead, what's actually going to happen is I've been panicking about this for a long time, and that makes it worse. It feeds on it. I haven't really got any solutions to this. I think the only thing I can do is not to worry. Because I know how to do small talk. I know that people aren't judging me. And I know that even if they are judging me, there's nothing I can do to control someone else's view of me. And there's no point trying, because it never works out how you intend. So I just have to accept what is. And that sounds so nice and easy, but it's probably the most difficult thing to learn in life. I've been trying to be a lot more calm, a lot more accepting of what will be, and know when to expend my energy and when not. And I've expended too much energy and peace of mind on this. So I'm going to be actively trying for the rest of today just to see what happens. I am terrified and I hope it'll be okay, but we'll find out soon. I'm probably going to piece this together with another couple of video entries from the next few days. Say I start back officially tomorrow, and then on Thursday there is an even more horrific social encounter. Just when I've got used to the people I'm on my course with and I feel that I'm able to have a cup of tea with them, I am then going to have to do a karaoke, pizza and bowling evening, including all 3 years of those that are currently enrolled on the PhD programme. Possibly the most terrifying thing to have come into my inbox in the last decade. However, I have to do it. It's important I meet and know these people. It's important to share knowledge with them. It's important to form personal relationships. And I hope I look back on this video and laugh. I know when I started university first time round, I ended up meeting my best friend from what was a conversation that started as, God, the weather's a bit rubbish, isn't it? And from that, ended up meeting another person who is my best friend to this day. I'm not incapable of having friends. I'm not incapable of talking to people. But that doesn't mean my brain doesn't think I'm incapable of it. And that's very difficult to live with. So if anyone else suffers from this, you're not alone. I understand that it's not just a feeling of, I'm not very good at talking to people. It's so much more than that. And it gets in the way of so many aspects of your life. Unfortunately, I haven't got any answers for you yet, but hopefully this gives some indication of what it's like being me and being in my head and having to deal with these things. Let's see how the rest of the week goes, shall we? Wish me luck. So I did it. I survived a social encounter, and that's one of the killers of anxiety. Is very rarely does the world actually explode, and pretty much the whole time everything's okay, and you've burnt all of your energy and all of your thoughts over something really trivial. People were really nice. It went okay. Yet that didn't stop me wasting hours of my life super anxious about it. Good news is they all seem nice enough, and I'm sure I'll get on fine with them for the next few years. Bad news is I've got to do this all again on Thursday, when there's now going to be a social event with some of the people in the other years on the course, and karaoke. and I'm exhausted, so I'm going to go to bed now. I'm going to do some more over the next week. You know how I'm getting on. Hello, so this is, I guess, my first official day of going back to being a student. I actually wrote in a text message this morning for the first time off to uni, which is awesome, really excited about that. I've decided I'm going to do a little bit of a vlog every day to see how my anxiety goes this week. Right now, I'm actually really glad I went yesterday. If I hadn't gone yesterday, then my anxiety would have been through the roof today, whereas I've only had a little bit today. So obviously I've decided today that everyone is going to be going down the pub and drinking and getting to know each other while I'm being boring and old and going back in my car. That's probably not the reality of it, and I can still stay and get a non-alcoholic drink anyway. So today is registration day. I will officially be a student shortly. I'm going to go and grab some porridge for breakfast because I'm rocking like that, and then walk up to university. See how it goes. Well, that's my first day induction kind of admin stuff done. I have a student card. I'm officially a student again and super excited at that. There were bits today that were like really weird and anxious because don't know what to say and new people, and that was interesting. So I probably felt I was actually more quiet than yesterday and spent a lot of time being like, oh my god, I'm really quiet. And then I was convinced everyone was probably going to go out drinking lots tonight, and someone floated the idea and everyone else was like, no, I'm going to bed. So that was a good thing. All but one person out turned up at the course. Everyone seems nice. We had like a whole introduction of what we're going to be doing for the next few years thing this afternoon, which was kind of cool and really exciting that I actually get to do real research and contribute to the world, which is awesome, but also terrifying because I'm convinced I'm going to fail and I'm not going to be good enough and I'm not going to get through my first year's thesis, let alone get on to doing my dissertation, because yeah, clearly I think I'm terrible. And you know, having been trying to cope with ego and self-esteem all being out of balance for my whole life, it's an interesting one. But I'm really excited to be there and I'm looking forward to actually getting started. I'm going to choose my modules soon. Tomorrow, more admin stuff, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, stop filming. Where's the button? Well, quick morning update. Today I am super anxious and I don't even know why. I've met everyone seems alright. All I'm doing today is going to do some health and safety stuff and boring admin, and my stomach is churning and I'm super nervous for no reason and anxious. And not knowing why is one of the worst things. So I feel queasy, I feel weird, my stomach's in knots, and all I have to do is sit in a room. This will be fine. Don't know why I feel like this. Very annoying. Check in later. Hello, so that was another day down. This is the afternoon of the Wednesday in my first week. I didn't do a vlog this morning because I was so filled with anxiety I wanted to run in as quickly as possible. Despite leaving my house early and thinking there'd be traffic, I got stuck in it. I made a couple of wrong choices overruling sat-nav, and then I was super worried that everyone would stare at me, I'd walk in late, it would all be terrible, and I got there before we were due to start. And also other people turned up late because traffic, and it started an hour late anyway. But in the process of doing that, I managed to exhaust myself. My chest was just beating about a million beats a minute. I think it pretty much feels like a lion is physically attacking me, but actually it's just my brain creating a situation that's total nonsense. The good news is, having been there, today was an alright day. It was C programming, which was alright for me. And now I'm finished and I'm home. Got tomorrow off, apart from the evening, which is a social, including karaoke, bowling and pizza. I've got to know the people that I'm with on my course now. I'm a bit more relaxed around them and can be myself slightly more, but then it's second and third years and staff as well, so terrifying again. I will report back on that tomorrow, see how it goes. Yeah, quite nervous about that, but where I am now compared to Sunday is a lot better. This is just starting to be random, me rambling about how I'm feeling on a daily basis. Maybe I'll use it as a video or not, but people are walking past now, which is making me actually really anxious because I'm talking to my phone. Yeah, they probably think I'm weird too.
I don't know, is that a normal thing to think? Also, I stole my car today and then got in a massive panic because I obviously was the worst person in the world, and like, who stores their car? Particularly somebody who's had a sports car, how can you store your car? And everyone would be looking at me, and the whole thing took about a quarter of a second at a junction that no one would have ever noticed, but I had to reassure myself and try and work out where everyone else was going so that I would never see them again before I could relax from that, which was quite stressful. Anyway, today's done. Hurrah! Okay, so we are on Thursday afternoon. I've not been in this morning, but this evening is a big social event with all 3 years of people and staff and stuff too. So I'm super nervous. Like, it felt really weird on the motorway driving down. I got this the other day as well, where it's almost like, I don't know, detaching from my body, that point where you're so tired you're completely removed from your body and like nodding in and out, kind of like that, but just driving whilst feeling really weird. I guess a bit like almost fainting, so I suppose a panic attack, probably close to it. So yes, I have to do that. We have got bowling, followed by karaoke, followed by pizza, followed by home. And the good news is I'll be out of adrenaline by then, so I'll get a good night's sleep as I'll be knackered. I'm also super anxious because I've been looking at money today and I've realised how utterly screwed we are financially. Like, not even close to how I wanted us to be around here. We're going to have a decent amount coming in, but I've no idea how we do anything. But I've done all I can for today. More to do tomorrow, and that's all I can do. But double dose of anxiety, because hey up, not a lot you can do. Right, well, I'm here. I'm running a bit late because of traffic, but I still wanted to do this quickly. And traffic, obviously, equally bad. Anyway, dropped my phone a bit there. I will update later. Bye. Well, I'm not sure this is exactly the best camera lighting in the world. I am lit by the wonders of 2 in-car lights. Oh God, that was tough. I feel like I've just done 10 rounds with Mike Tyson, or insert name of some boxer I'm supposed to know. Too many people. It was too noisy. My hearing's bad enough from years of loud music, let alone trying to hold a conversation with people whilst it's just noisy. Oh, that was just... I mean, it was alright. I was definitely quiet. Far quieter than the other day. Too much socialness going on. And I do kind of feel I have expended my entire social budget for the year in the course of 1 week. Like, that's it. I have no more social left to give. Also, my car is like 30 degrees centigrade. And I haven't turned the aircon on because you won't hear this, but I did it. Got tomorrow off. There's like a freshers fair, but I'm not going because A, it's a long way to drive. B, probably the only thing I'm going to do is yoga, and C, my car has no MOT. Woo, that was fun to find out today. I'm glad this week is over. I really like everyone that's on my course, but Christ, it's tiring trying to interact with large groups of people. I just want to get down, do work, and actually get to know people individually. Like, I'm okay when I get to know people one-on-one or in small groups, but large group things, no. What can you say? Right, sleepy. I'm probably going to stop daily vlogging now and wrap this up with something when I have more energy and more words than and cut.
So I'm not really sure what this video turned into. It was a bit of a rant about me being anxious at the start of my first week of university and some vloggy stuff throughout it. But it's been a really challenging week for me. I think it's important that I document it in some way. Trying to explain how I feel with this is really difficult, because I've spoken to a couple of people this week who've gone, oh, well, you've done Sunday now, the rest of it will be easy. Or they've gone, yeah, I'm not a great fan of going to social things too. But it's more than that. You can be an extrovert with social anxiety. You can be an introvert that isn't socially anxious. The two things different. I happen to be introverted and socially anxious, which is probably the most common pairing of it. It's more than just not wanting to be at something social. It is so emotionally and physically draining trying to engage with it. Last night I got home at about 9:30. I passed out on the sofa straight away, went upstairs, and I slept for 13 hours. Now, that might not sound too excessive, but in fact, I actually only sleep for 6 hours a night normally, and I'm fine. And the same thing happened after Sunday. Going out to these kind of events is like going 10 rounds with a giant bear on a kind of bare knuckle fight. It's tiring physically as well as emotionally. And it's nuts. It is nuts. That is the joy of mental health problems. So you are the definition of nuts. I know that nothing terrible is going to happen from this, but my body reacts to social situations as if something incredibly bad is going to happen. It's like those moments where the worst thing that could happen is happening to you. We all have one of those at some point in our lives. It's like that whenever any kind of social event happens. And the adrenaline, it's just everything about it is such a build-up, and nothing ever happens, but your body still reacts to it in that way. And it's really difficult. But I don't just need to rant. I've got through this week. The people in my course are nice enough. And I suspect that I will be able to have good working relationships with them, which is what I need ultimately out of this. The difficulty is I'm probably never going to integrate as easily as anyone else, but that is who I am. And I think there's a great degree of needing to have acceptance, and that's helped me. And a couple of things that have helped me this week. The first one is that silence is shared. I am not solely responsible for a silence in a group of people. Although, in my head, I am the reason that no one is necessarily talking to me or engaging in a conversation with me, I am not the only person who's responsible for that. Anyone else can choose to talk to me, the same as I can choose to talk to them. And this week, I've actually responded okay when people have spoken to me, or at least I've thought so. Therefore, I have to accept that is a joint responsibility, and I need to be able to be happy in silence. And that's a big one to move towards, but something I think over the last year I've come more and more into accepting being happy with a shared responsibility for silence. One of the other things is it's none of my business what's in someone else's head. Everyone else in a room, it's none of their business what I think, whether I am thinking about them or not, whether I'm projecting their emotional feelings, whether I'm trying to figure out what they're like as a person. None of their business. And it's exactly the same the other way around. It's none of my business what someone else thinks about me, for right or wrong. I know who I am. Those that I'm close to know who I am. And those that I become friends with will get to know who I am. Anyone else, it doesn't matter. And that's an important one I've been trying to remind myself this week as well, in that it's not my business what someone else thinks, which is a really important one. The final thing that's really important is trying to get out of the way of myself. And I mean that in the context of my thoughts. I can focus solely on worry and what it's going to be like and what people are thinking and what's happening. And the majority of my hours awake this week have probably been doing that. And I have to remind myself, it doesn't matter. I can't control it. And the more I sit and think that, the less I'm engaging in the present moment. And that makes things worse. And this is the hardest one to deal with. And I think if I ever crack this, I'll probably crack social anxiety, or at least a large degree of it. But me being in the way of those thoughts, and me trying to control it, and me worrying what people are thinking, and me projecting into the future, does nothing but make the situation worse. And I don't know how to do this, but sometimes this week, by realising I need to be focusing on now, rather than focusing on what happened 2 minutes ago, what might happen in 2 minutes' time, that I need to be in this present moment, has actually allowed me to suddenly have a couple of conversations with people and feel a bit calmer. Whereas I could have carried on just worrying about the fact I missed a conversation a minute ago and no one's ever going to talk to me again. Those three things help me. They have made this week a little less stressful than it otherwise would have been. But I am so glad this week is over. I mean, we're at lunchtime the day after last night's 4-hour meal. And I still feel drained from it despite having slept for half a day. I don't know if this will be of use to anyone or whether it's just been me rambling somewhat on YouTube. But if it is, that's okay, because it's very important for me to have somewhere to vent this week. And I suppose that's the other important thing. Once I have been able to see, for me, that I do have problems with this, being able to talk about it, even to a camera, even if there's no one else around, just being able to say it somehow gets it outside of me. Because things that are in my head and are looping around constantly with all the worry and all the anxiety make everything so much worse. As soon as I say it, it makes it easier. And I suppose that's the final thing is, for me, being able to talk about it makes it easier. Or at least it relieves it afterwards, so that fear, that anxiety, those physical feelings stop after the event. And can be quickly rewarded with the release of the fact I am done in this. And I tell you what, leaving the event, oh, what a lovely rush of I'm out of this fight and I won, I survived. So hey, that's a bonus, at least get that adrenaline rush. I don't know if this has been interesting for anyone. I'd love to know what you think. Please leave some comments below, hit like or dislike. Even if you thought this was the worst thing in the world or you thought this helped you, I'd like to know. I could certainly do plenty more like this, and it's useful for me to know whether I should bother ranting or not on YouTube. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. I'll have more of my regular programming soon, but this has been quite a hectic week, and I thought it was very important to share. Thanks for watching. Please check out some of my other videos, and don't forget to subscribe.